morning everyone and thank you for joining us today. Ako po si Michael Sia ng National Research Council of the Philippines, NRCP. And welcome to iShare. Today's episode is a special one. Ito po ang unang show ng ating second season. But before everything else, alam niyo po ba na we are celebrating the National Women's Month 2022 this month of March. At ako po ay proud na ipakita sa inyo ang kwento ng isa sa mga kababaihan na hinahangaan talaga sa NRCP. Walang iba ang ina ng NRCP, Dr. Marieta Bañez Sumagaysay.
Everyone loves a story. We all love storytelling and telling stories. This is my story. When I was a young girl, my siblings, my cousins, and the other kids in our small neighborhood in the province would always look forward to dinner time. We called ourselves Row 1, Section 1, mimicking how the brighter children in the classroom were seated. Dinner was the chime to signal that my grandmother, sometimes my grandfather, was preparing to dish out stories of heroes and heroines and how they would emerge unscathed, still pretty and strong, after going through a kaleidoscope of challenges. As children, we were awed with the courage, persistence, compassion, some magical spells of the heroes and heroines, hoping that one day we will be like them. But more than just hoping, we daydreamed. We daydreamed of being like them. Then later on, we would find ourselves behaving like them. We drew inspiration from them, and growing up was a journey of happily imitating our favorite characters, not losing sight of our bright stars. Today, almost all of us from Row 1, Section 1 did reach our stars, thanks to the inspiration of great storytellers like my grandparents. Today, the National Research Council of the Philippines introduces a platform for its great storytellers. The Council launches iShare, stories of inspiration, stories of success, and stories of creative research. iShare is the venue for our storytellers who are NRCP's Achievement Awardees, who have excelled in their respective fields of specialization as scientists, researchers, experts, and artists. They have been bestowed recognition because of their outstanding contribution to the existing body of knowledge in science, technology, and the arts, as well as to nation building. The NRCP Achievement Awardees will tell their stories and the journey of becoming a scientist or an artist. They will inspire the young to aim high because there's always a room for achievers. They will engage the young with the research findings and innovations and will help them appreciate the relevance of science in their lives. For science is the smartest way to explain the world. Dear students and the young researchers, the NRCP welcomes you to iShare, stories of inspiration and creative research. Catch NRCP's science heroes and heroines as they tell their stories of success and achievement. Join us in NRCP's iShare, NRCP's brand of digital storytelling. Stop thinking of what you cannot do. Focus on what you can do. Listen. Listen to our science heroes and heroines. Be inspired. Be the best version of yourself. Always. iShare. The I in me. The I in you. The I in all of us. We all love stories.
Last season, we brought you stories of inspiration and creative research from 8 NRCP Achievement Awardees. And in this season, we'll bring you 8 more. Yun nga po, we are all live and live streaming via Facebook page, via NRCP official Facebook page, The Research Pod. Please invite your family, friends, and colleagues to watch and share this iShare. Like the story of Dr. Norby L. Manigbas of the Philippine Rice Research Institute, the leader of the team that developed heat-tolerant rice breeds. He had to face some heat of his own on his journey as an expert scientist. His story comes up later. But first, we'll hear from Dr. Olivia C. Kawili. If you've ever enrolled in a science, technology, and society class in college, you have Doc Olivia to thank for that. We sat down with the NRCP member emeritus for a brief Zoom chat on her experiences, passion, and what makes science and technology inextricably important to society. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Kawili. Para sa mga hindi po nakakakilala sa inyo, can you please introduce yourself?
I am Olivia del Castillo Kawili. I am a retired professor of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and also a retired research director of the University of the East, Manila. My field of expertise is political science and public administration, and I also have written a lot about science and technology policy in the Philippines.
Okay, so Dr. Kawili, how was it growing up?
I was born in Lawag, Ilocos Norte on November 29, 1940. I was the eldest of 8 children. Soon after that, World War II broke out and we had to evacuate to the rural towns in Ilocos Norte. In 1947, my family and I moved to Legazpi, Albay, because my father is from Albay. And there he practiced as a rural health physician. I had to commute to school to St. Agnes Academy. It was really tough for an 8-year-old girl. But I was very happy because sometimes when I boarded the bus in the company of adults, the conductor did not collect my fare. So I had more money to buy my food during recess time. So I enjoyed my childhood a lot. We had to climb up trees, pick up fruits of mangroves, caimitos.
So, Dr. Kawili, nabanggit po ninyo kanina, your father was a medical doctor. Did he in any ways po influence you, or did he want you to be a medical doctor also?
I really wanted to follow his footsteps. I wanted to become a doctor, but as I said earlier, I was the eldest of 8 children, so I couldn't obviously get all the resources of my family to follow my career that I wanted. From there, I went to the University of the Philippines. I enrolled for pre-law course, but since it was just a 2-year course, I opted to continue and take the Bachelor of Arts, a 4-year course, so that I could be a working student and support myself. My graduation, I worked briefly as a research assistant in the UP College of Public Administration. Then I was awarded the East-West Center Scholarship, where I did my master's degree in the University of Hawaii and Cornell University.
Dr. Kawili, your dissertation on science policy in the Philippines is a comprehensive historical look at our country's science and technology policies after the war. How did you come up with that topic?
Well, when I was doing my PhD studies in Kingston University in Canada, I discovered that I was interested in the role of science and technology in society. And that's why I wrote my dissertation on science and technology policy in the Philippines to find out why we are where we are in science and technology. I was surprised to find out that we were excelling in this field before World War II, but after World War II, we tended to neglect science and technology in government.
So, ano po ang nagbago? And what kind of social issues has our lack of focus on science caused?
Well, the most pressing social problem is really our lack of industrialization so that we could have more employment for our citizens within this country, and therefore they shouldn't be going abroad to work as OCWs. I think that's the most pressing problem that I can see, because we have a lot of educated young people, but the problem is many people call it a mismatch in the education system, but I think it is not a mismatch. It is really the lack of industrial policy for this country and the lack of attention by our politicians on issues of economic development.
Some would say that a small country like ours need not bother with science because we don't need to innovate anyway.
We have a lot of resources that we alone can locate and understand, and we have a lot of people who need to be employed where they live. They don't need to go abroad. They don't have to leave their communities. And I think that should be a way to develop our society via science and technology, rather than continue importing manufactured goods using the science of outside countries.
Kayo po ang proponent, of course, ng science, technology, and society in UP. What's the importance of contextualizing science and tech in society?
Well, first of all, I had to convince the University Council that it was a necessary course. Before I could do that, I had to demonstrate that it was an important course by teaching it as an undergraduate course. Then later I had to convince them to make it a required course for all undergraduates. From there, we managed to inspire many of our young people to go into the field of sciences, whether it be agriculture or manufacturing. Of course, the problem still was we didn't have enough opportunities for these graduates to use their knowledge, so still we lost some of them overseas.
Was the effect immediately felt? Did the STS course manage to shift mindsets towards scientific pursuits?
Well, some of them really went into studying, for example, science and engineering. It became a required course in all other universities after we were using this idea in our meetings of the National Research Council of the Philippines. And I am very pleased to observe that science and technology courses have become popular in many of our universities. And still, the problem is employment for our graduates in science and technology.
Doc Olive, bakit po mahalaga ang research?
Research is important because we have a lot of problems peculiar to our country, considering that we are archipelagic in nature. We have so many indigenous groups of people that we cannot rely only on the research done outside our country. We have to encourage our own scientists to do research and to make sure that their research reaches our industrialists so that this can be a way to develop our talents as a people, our resources as a country.
Ma'am, you mentioned that many of our scientists, engineers, and other highly educated individuals have left the country because of a lack of opportunity. Why have you stayed?
I thought to myself, if everybody went out, then we'll never move out of where we are. So I said, maybe if okay, I will just be one drop of water, maybe we need that drop of water anyway.
You're now retired from teaching and administrative work. Do you feel fulfilled or satisfied with what you have accomplished?
Well, what else can I say? I worked and worked and worked, and I hardly had time to think about fulfillment. I just had to work. Work for a living, work to survive. Since I retired, of course, I've been active in our officers group in the homeowners subdivision, tutoring my grandchildren. I have two. They are very inquisitive and they always run to me to ask for answers to some questions they encounter. And I'm very happy because I also am forced to learn.
Now, what is your advice to budding researchers and scientists?
Get on with it, do it. Don't listen to other people who discourage you. And explore all the possibilities. There are now so many possibilities that were not available in our youth. Many avenues for further studies, graduate studies.
She is Dr. Olivia Kawili. This is her story, and I share. That was the story of Dr. Olivia Kawili. In 2018, he was the recipient of the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award for his work in rice research. Dr. Norvie L. Manigbas shares his story.
Phil Rice. I'm from San Agustin to Nauhan Oriental, Mindoro. That's the place where I was born. Well, San Agustin, Nauhan Oriental, Mindoro is a province, and we live in a farming community in San Agustin too. I think there is a relationship between my childhood days when I grew up in the farm and my work here at Phil Rice doing rice research. At a young age, I was really indulged into rice farming. From sowing until milling. So lagi akong kasama dyan sa mga activities. So I know how the farmer works and the operations in the field. Maaga akong ginigising ng tatay ko at nanay ko. And then, ang una kong ginagawa ay magpastol ng baka at kalabaw. And then, depende sa field operations, kapag halimbawa may pulling, seedlings, transplanting, normally ako ay nagpapaupa para may mabaon sa aking pag-aaral sa elementary. So, dahil nga malapit kami sa bukid, so ginagawa ko itong parang playground, kumbaga. Dahil habang kami ay nagbubunot ng punla, nagtatanim ng palay, o naggagapasma, nag-aani, o nagtitresh, inuupahan kami ng konti para pambaon namin sa eskwela. Noon nga, kumisan ay inaayawan ko talaga yung trabaho sa bukid dahil napakahirap. Pero masaya naman. I finished my college in the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, when I took up BS in Agriculture. And then, ang aking farm practice noon ay sa rice na din. Dahil kokonti pa lang noon ang nag-aaral sa rice. Sabi ko, para makatulong ako sa father ko, mag-recommend ng mga technologies about rice farming, yun ang kinuha kong kurso. Una kong naging trabaho ay sa Institute of Plant Breeding sa UP Los Baños. Ang ibinigay sa aking assignment is vegetable breeding and seed production. So nawala yung rice for the meantime. Nag-engage ako sa vegetables, seed production, legumes, lahat ng klase ng vegetables na nasa Institute of Plant Breeding ay ako ang nagsiseed produce at na-involve din ako sa kaunting breeding doon. Pero short term yun dahil ako ay service contractor. And then, nag-apply naman ako the next sa Erie. Dahil Erie, so rice siya, so parang bumalik uli yung sigla ko dahil magtatrabaho uli ako sa rice. At napapunta naman ako sa Plant Breeding, Genetics and Biochemistry Division. Doon na nag-umpisa yung development ng aking career sa breeding, sa rice breeding. Parang very challenging lang kasi yung aking trabaho sa Erie is on deep water rice research. Hindi naman ako sanay doon sa bukid na napakalalim. And yung boss ko, sabi ko, pagka malulunod kami, kakapit na lang ako sa kanya kasi mas mataas siya sa akin. Masasabi ko na kapag pinag-usapan ang high temperature stress tolerance breeding, kaagad na may mention yung pangalan ko. Ako ang unang nag-umpisa nito dito sa PhilRice, yung breeding for high temperature tolerance in rice. Of course, may mga kasama ako dati, mga taga-Erie and international scientists. Pero ako mismo ang nag-umpisa nito, kaya kapag pinag-usapan ang high temperature stress, kaagad na nalilink ang pangalan ko doon. Ang mainit na temperatura, lalong-lalo na kapag summer at umaabot ito ng more than 35 degrees centigrade, naapektuhan nito ang growth and development ng halaman. Sa pamamagitan nito, sinasabi ko lagi sa mga farmers na sa tingin nyo ba umiinit ang ating panahon? So kino-confirm ko muna sa kanila kung talagang may high temperature. At ano ba ang naoobserbahan nyo sa bukid? Na halimbawa, mainit ang temperatura during summer o dry season. Ano ang nangyayari sa mga palay ninyo? So doon ko nalalaman at nako-confirm na bumababa ang ani nila kasi sabi niya, Sir, marami pong tulyapis o mga ipa. So saka ko ini-explain sa kanila kung bakit nagkakaroon ng madaming ipa dahil hindi na di-develop yung grain through pollination and fertilization. Yun kasing rice, kapag tinamaan ng mataas sa temperatura, sa flowering and reproductive stage until maturity, yung pollen grains niya ay nagkakrampol, yung hindi siya nadidissipate. And then, kapag hindi siya madissipate, nagkakaroon ng less number of pollen grains na pumapasok sa ovary ng palay. At doon na nagkakaroon ng problema katulad ng mga ipa, hindi na di-develop ng buo yung grain ng palay. At ultimately, nababawasan ang kanyang ani dahil nga maraming butil ng palay ay hindi nabubuo. Karamihan dito ay ipa. Kaya yun ang nagiging epekto sa palay naman. Sa ibang mga crops, ganun din. Bawat yugto ng kanilang growth and development, merong mga stages sila na susceptible sa high temperature. Actually, hindi lang naman ako ang involved sa heat tolerance breeding. Kasi sabi ko, mukhang wala pang gumagawa nito sa Pilipinas at probably sa Erie meron na, pero sa PhilRice ay entirely wala pa. So yun ang aking parang naging stronghold. Sabi ko, magandang umpisahan nito dahil nandyan yung mga magme-mentor sa akin, mga scientists na kaibigan ko, and even different scientists working on high temperature tolerance breeding. So doon na nag-umpisa. At yung aking team at ako syempre, very proud na after 10 years, nakaproduce kami ng heat tolerant rice na pwede nang gamitin ng mga farmers doon sa mga area na mataas ang temperatura. Sa Cagayan Valley, sa Tugigaraw, dyan mataas ang temperatura, umaabot ng 40 degrees centigrade. Sa Isabela, dito sa Nueva Ecija, sa Camarines Sur, dito sa Bicol Region, and some areas in Mindanao, I think sa Region 12, may mga areas dyan na mataas ang temperatura. So ito normally yung mga nasa east side ng Philippines, na dyan talaga mo makikita na maraming area, rice production area, na mataas ang temperature lalo pagka dry season at during flowering time ng rice nila. As long as there is research, and that is a very important component in each country to do research. Not only rice, but other kind of researchers could be medical, pharmaceutical, agriculture, forestry, or any type of research. Napakahalaga ito sa isang bansa. Kaya naman masasabi ko na fulfilling ang career financially, academically, professionally, itong career ng agriculture. I am Norvi Manigbas. This is my story, and I share.
Thank you for sharing your story, Doc Norvi Manigbas. At this point, I am very, very excited. Bakit po? Because we have our featured researchers, Dr. Olivia C. Kawili, NRCP Member Emeritus, and Dr. Norvi L. Manigbas, NRCP Achievement Awardee. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Again, pinapaalalahanan lamang po natin ang ating mga participants at ating mga viewers na we are live via Zoom, and also we're live streaming via official Facebook page of NRCP, The Research Pod. Kaya naman i-invite po ninyo ang inyong friends, family, and colleagues para makasama sa ating discussion and this event ng iShare. Alright, so balik po tayo sa mga guests natin for the first episode of iShare Season 2. Magandang umaga po, Doc Kawili and Doc Norvi. Ayan po, may mga katanungan po tayo para sa... Yeah, good morning sir, good morning ma'am. Okay. May ilang mga katanungan po tayo. Let's start with a question for Doc Olive. Yan. Doc Olive, isa po sa mga nakwento ninyo sa amin nung nakaraang interview natin, yung inyong mga past experiences after the war. Kung paano po kayo mag-practice magsulat. Can you share with us po, ma'am, yung story na nabanggit po ninyo, including yung banana leaves, no?
Well, I told you last time that after the war, paper was short because it had been damaged. So we brought rolled banana leaves to school and sharp bamboo stick to write on the banana leaves. That's where we learned to write our ABC. Remember that the banana leaves have lines also, which would guide us.
That's very amazing story, Doc Kawili, you know. Started from banana leaves and sticks. Now you're here, a well-known professor, and of course, one of the excellent awardees and achievement awardees of NRCP. Another question, Doc Kawili. If you could bring one of today's technologies back to when you were a young student, ano po kaya yun, no? Doc, kung papapipiliin po kayo ng isa, what would it be?
Di yung computer, kasi pinakamagamit ng banana leaf. Kaming iPad.
Definitely, Doc, ano? Imbes na banana leaves, magkaroon na lang po ng computer. Pero of course, in this age where science and of course technology is reigning, marami na pong pwedeng gawin ang ating mga kababayan. This one naman po is a question for Doc Norvi. Maraming salamat po ulit, Doc Kawili. Ano? For Doc Norvi naman po, magandang umaga, Doc Norvi.
Good morning po sa lahat ng mga nandito sa Zoom at sa Facebook.
Alright. So, Doc Norby, your story po, on how you dedicate your heart and paano po ninyo ginawa yung mga bagay-bagay na pag may specific things kayong gusto, you can achieve. Like your spectacular study on rice and even your acquired skill in tennis is a reminder po, Doc, to all of us that dedication and willingness to learn is a vital role in achieving a goal. So, Doc Norby, ano po ang maipapayo ninyo sa mga mas batang henerasyon na may kinakaharap na mga problema, suliranin sa kanilang mga daang tinatahak?
Yeah, I think pumili sila ng mag-a-advise sa kanila na magaling at may passion sa work na ginagawa nila. Alam mo, kailangan kasi sa mga bago na nag-uumpisa ng research or mga topics ay may mag-guide, yung mentor. Diyan ako nag-umpisa eh. And then, kailangan sundin mo yung pinapagawa sa iyo ng boss mo or ng supervisor mo. Hayaan mo lang siya na mag-input at sumunod ka sa gustong gawin niya. And then later on, you will realize that you will learn from that. And I hope hindi lang naman yung idea ng boss mo o lagi ang susundin mo. Meron ka ding mga ideas na posible na ma-improve yung inyong research o yung ginagawa mo. And you can discuss it with your supervisor or your mentor. Napakahalaga nito dahil ito yung kumbaga first parent mo sa iyong trabaho. Nung ikaw ay bata, ang una mong nagturo sa iyo ay yung mga magulang mo, yung mother mo and father mo. Ganon din sa akin eh. And then nung bago kang nagtrabaho, siyempre, hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo. So you have to really rely on your boss, on your supervisor. And then later on, you will learn everything. And afterwards, makukuha mo na yan at makakapagbigay ka na ng mga ideas or even you can write it in a proposal at yun na ang mag-uumpisa sa'yo na magtuloy-tuloy sa iyong passion for research. Napakahalaga na mahal mo ang trabaho mo. Yun. Pag mahal mo ang trabaho mo, kahit kaano kahirap, kahit kaano challenging, ay kaya mo yan. Dahil love mo yan di ba? Kapag mahal mo ang isang trabaho, parang naglalaro ka lang. Ibig sabihin, wala kang stress kasi gusto mong gawin, mahal mo yon, di ba? It's like that.
Thank you, Dr.
So yun ang
Norby,
aking advice sa mga bagong mga researchers.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Norby. So number 1, find a mentor. And number 2, love your job or love what you do para mag-excel sa kung ano man po ang career na ginagawa natin ngayon. Dr. Norby, thank you. Pero ito po, next question, dahil napakaganda ng Zoom background ni Dr. Norby. Sa tagal po na inoobserbahan at pinag-aaralan ninyo ang mga rice or ang mga palay, iba't ibang klase nito, kung ihahalin tulad mo po, Dr. Norby, ang iyong sarili sa specific na uri o klase ng palay, sa tingin nyo po, ayon sa pag-oobserba ninyo, anong palay po kayo or anong klaseng palay or species or strand ng palay maihahalin tulad ninyo ang sarili ninyo, Dr. Norby?
Yeah, siyempre, gusto kong ihalin tulad yung aking unang variety na develop sa high temperature tolerance. Sinasabi nga nila na binibiro ako na lagi daw akong in heat, quote unquote. Sabi ko, o tsaka hindi daw ako nai-stress sa high temperature. Sabi ko, well, sa akin ay escape yan. Nag-i-escape lang ako pero I'm not tolerant to high temperature. Siyempre, medyo umiidad na tayo, hindi na pwede tayong ma-expose sa init ng araw. Pero I would like to compare myself and associate myself dito sa rice especially na nan-develop ko kasi it took us 10 years to develop this rice na heat tolerant. And this is the first release varieties sa heat tolerant rice. And I was also the breeder of the first direct wet seeded rice that was 2012 pa yon. So Yung mga first kasi na alam mo na, hindi mo malilimutan yung mga una lagi. And of course, paborito ko rin ang mga rices na pigmented kasi mataas ang antioxidants, very healthy, at saka maganda yan sa mga may diabetes. Actually, wala naman akong diabetes, pero yan ay isa sa mga na-recommend namin dito sa Free Rice na kumain sila ng healthy food at mag-uumpisa yan doon sa pigmented rice or kaya brown rice dahil marami siyang minerals and vitamins. So at hindi kailangang madami ang kain mo dyan kasi pag brown rice or pigmented rice, madali kang mabubusog. So you need not consume so many of these rices na hindi naman maganda rin sa katawan kapag masyadong madami. Yun.
Thank you, Doc Norby. So, long story short, si Doc Norby po ay isang tao na kaya mag-endure ng maraming mga pagsubok and also very healthy sa kanyang lifestyle. Katulad ng mga nabigay niyang klase ng rice o palay. Okay, maraming salamat po, Doc Norby. Ngayon naman po, no, may katanungan tayo for Doc Olive. Yan, Doc Olive, magandang umaga po ulit. Sa dami po or sa tagal ng inyong experience in teaching, we are sure marami na po ang mga nagdaang mga students ninyo na now ay politician na. We can you elaborate po, no? Baka may mga specific na students po kayong kilala and natatandaan pa na sa ngayon ay gumagawa ng change for our community and of course for the country, Doc.
Well, si Governor Aaron,
Okay, Doc.
marami kong lima, pero lang.
Okay,
New
Doc.
York, Upper North, meron din.
Wow, napakarami po, ano. That means, Doc, sa dami and tagal ng inyong experience in teaching, marami po talagang minds that you inspired. So, Doc, bilang marami naman po yung mga students na naging part or natatandaan nyo ngayon ay gumagawa ng difference in our country. Sa tingin nyo po, what is the best quality or what are the best qualities of a politician?
Quality? Di siyempre, dapat sincere siya sa mga pinapangako niya. Pangalawa, dapat talaga nagtatrabaho siya, hindi inuutos-utos niya lang sa mga assistant niya. At saka, dapat lumalabas talaga siya sa kanyang opisina para makita kung ano talagang nangyayari sa ating bansa. Okay?
Alright, thank you so much, Doc Olive. So, dapat po sincere and, syempre, kumikilos para sa mga nasasakupan niya. Alright, thank you, Doc Olive. Thank you, Doc Olive. At mukhang marami rin po, baka may mga question. Alright, para naman po sa mga nanonood sa atin via Zoom, via Facebook Live, pwede po tayo magtanong para sa ating mga guest speakers or mga guest ngayong araw na ito for iShare. Kindly put your answers or drop your questions on the chat box and sa comment section po, no? So we can attend. Pwede nating tanungin si Doc Norby and si Doc Olive. Alright? So, ngayon po, nakikita po natin or natunghayan po natin yung stories nilang dalawa. So, Doc Olive, abante babae po, dahil napakarami pong ginawa from a little girl na nangarap po noon, si Doc Norby. And now, a retired but well-known na professor and researcher sa field ng SNT at iba pang mga expertise niya. Napakarami pong pwede nating matutuhan sa mga experiences and journey, of course, ni Doc Olive. Gayon din naman po sa natunghayan nating story from Doc Norby, his dedication and of course, love for his work ang nag-push para naman po magkaroon tayo ng mga new or mga bagong development and innovation just like the rice breed or the breed ng rice na kaya mag-sustain or endure ng high temperature or may mga tolerance tayo dyan na iba't iba ang nagagawa. Of course, matutulungan ang farming community. Okay, joining us now is the Executive Director of the National Research Council of the Philippines, NRCP, walang iba, Dr. Marieta Banyas Magaysay. Doc Mayet, talagang napaka-powerful ng mga kwento ng ating mga sharers ngayong Season 2, Episode 1.
Hello, thank you po, Doc Olive, Ma'am Olive, and Doc Norby. Napakaganda po ng
Thank you din po.
Okay. So, Ma'am Olive and Doc Norby, naririnig na ako yata, ano? Oo, sige. Oo, thank you very much po. Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring stories. And meron po tayong nasa Q&A po. Kuya Kel, can you read na sa ano natin? Nasa may anonymous attendee tayo. He's asking something like, can you advise to budding or potential scientists from the rural areas to be able to rise from being unnoticed? So marami tayong na-observe na yung mga galing sa rural areas, hindi sila nanonotice, hindi sila napagbibigyan yata ng mga opportunities. Ano po yung magiging advice po natin?
Bang umpisa?
Yes po, Dr. Harvey.
Yeah, I think ang unang step is to coordinate their work sa local government units. Kasi kung sa kanila lang, hindi siya ma-recognize talaga. I mean, hindi maaalaman na may ginagawa kang kakaiba doon sa lugar mo. So we have to outreach doon sa community, which is the local government or the barangay, so that your work will be noticed. And later on, kapag ito ay maganda talaga and maganda ang impact sa community, it will rise by itself. kumbaga dalo yan ng tubig, kapag maganda, pupunta na yan doon sa talagang direction na kung saan nandun yung pool ng water. So kailangan niyang ma-inform ang community and the local government para malaman yung ginagawa niya and probably derive support from them. Doon na yun mag-uumpisa when the local government units already notice that you have been doing this very well. Mag-upgrade na yan into provincial and probably later on magkakaroon ka ng budget, and that's the time na mare-recognize na yung effort mo doon sa community and to the whole municipality and province as well, di ba? Yun po. Hindi pwedeng gumawa ka lang ng sarili mo. Kung gusto mong malaman ng iba at magkaroon ka ng support from the bigger group or bigger community.
Yes po, salamat po Doc Norby. Narinig ko rin yun sa ibang achievers. Sabi nga nila, who will disseminate or who will inform the others what you are doing kung hindi ikaw mismo ay magsabi what you are doing. At maganda po, connection or partnership, collaboration with LGUs ay napakagandang approach po para sa ganito. Ma'am Olive, from your end po, what can we advise our budding researchers na unnoticed sila, especially those from the rural areas?
I-share nila yung findings nila sa mga kasamang scientists, pwede sa mga teachers of science sa rural areas. Ganon, dadami na lang ang makakaalam niyan. O kaya, pag nakita nilang may mangyayaring conference, sumali sila sa conference. Lalo na yung national conferences dito sa ating bansa. At saka, kung kampante na sila sa kanilang ginawa, ibigay nila for publication sa mga scientific journals. Pwede nilang ibigay through NRCP at ang NRCP ang mag-follow up ng publication nun.
Okay, salamat po. And one more question po from Engineer Ray Ramos, member po natin sa Division 7 from Romblon State University. What are the pressing challenges in the conduct of research? and how were you able to overcome them? Doc Norby.
Yeah, well, ang isang area dito na challenging is to look for a problem. Ano yung kinakaharap na problema na dapat mong i-address doon sa research work mo, doon sa iyong expertise. Napakaraming problema o problem areas sa Philippines. For example, sa food production, ano ba yung makikitang problema sa market, sa price, sa production? Kailangan mong mahanap yung unang suliranin na gusto mong itackle sa research mo. That's one thing that you can start. Kapag alam mo yung problema, and then you write the methodology on how you will approach it, and ano yung mga possible na output niyan or outcome. So in a way, magkakaroon ka ng yung dating ginagawa natin, research outline, starting with your problem and methodology, literatures, and possible results, conclusions. Ito yung steps, scientific way by which we derive our research. So, kung ikaw ay expert sa isang field, yun ang iyong pag-igihin, and kasi mas alam mo yon, at kahit saan ka pupuntang area ay kumbaga alam mo yon, kaya sa pag-search mo ng mga research literatures, alam mo rin yung una mong mga i-research. So, yun, palagay ko, ang importante ay to identify the problems na gusto mong i-approach sa research. Thank you.
Yes, salamat Doc Norby. Dapat klarado what you want to do at klarado anong output ang gusto mong anong target mo sa research po ninyo. And I can relate that, Doc Norby, doon sa unang sagot mo kanina sa unang tanong when you said have a mentor. Diba? Kasi many times you will be guided. You will be guided by the mentor. Sabi mo kanina, sumunod ka kung ano ang sinasabi ng mentor mo, ng advisor mo. Salamat po. Ma'am Olive, ano po ang pwedeng gawin and how did you overcome the challenges?
Some challenges, how did I overcome?
Research.
Tungkol sa research?
Yes, ma'am.
Nag-aaral ako. Tapos, pagka may mga requirements sa courses ng mga term papers, siniseryoso ko talaga. At saka nung nagbukas na ng course na Science, Technology, and Society, nung nagturo na ako noon, sina-challenge ko yung mga estudyante ko na gumawa din ng research. Unang-una, magsasubmit sila ng research sa klase nila na tinuturo ko. Kaya doon pa lang, na-challenge na sila. Hindi sila papasa. Required for graduation yung course na yun.
May gusto akong idagdag.
Yes po. Yes, please.
Yeah. Kasi ngayon, yung mga type of research natin, ang gusto ng mga funding agencies ay multi-science or multi-experts. Ayaw na nila nung single person or few persons involved in research. So isang challenge dyan yung maghanap ka ng mga makakasama mo sa research, because most of the funding agencies, lalo kung international, they require us to have more collaborations, more partners, para pag nagbigay ng budget sa iyong research, masasabi nila na, uy, maganda ito, maraming ina-address na topics, at maraming mga expertise na nagsama-sama para ma-address yung problema doon sa community or doon sa farming community or sa bansa. And isa yun sa mga dapat mong, itakel, humanap ka ng mga makakasama mo, and of course nga yung mentor. Pero dahil ikaw ay, kumbaga may kaalaman na, you have to look for partners. And this will guide you sa iyong pag-pursue ng research. And of course, mas malaki ang chance mo na magkaroon ka ng budget.
Okay, so additional tips para sa ating young researchers. Sabi ni Ma'am Olive, role modeling din ang ginagawa niya at saka role model siya sa kanyang mga estudyante and be serious about what you are doing. And additional tip from Doc Norby, partners. You cannot be working alone, especially today. Kailangan partners, multidisciplinary, at sinasabi pa ni Doc Norby, yung madaming natatarget na mga outputs at saka mga something that the researcher would like to do. So maybe at this point, may I call on Kuya Kel? Kuya Kel, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Doc Mayet, I'm still here. Yan, maraming salamat po also for Doc Norby and Doc Olive for answering our questions. I think may mga, yung mga tanong po na yun is from Zoom and from Facebook Live. Baka may mga katanungan pa po kayo. Pwede po ninyong itanong kay Doc Olive and Doc Norby. Right, Doc Mayet? Alright, so mukhang at this point po, do we have any more questions based on our technical team? Yeah, mukhang satisfied and talaga naman pong natuto yung ating audience sa stories ng ating mga guest for today. Again, ito po ang iShare Season 2, Episode 1. And napakaganda po ng mga napakinggan natin sa araw na ito, of course. And also, Doc Mayet, hindi naman po natin papalampasin itong pagtatapos ng Episode 1 ng iShare Season 2 kung hindi po magtatapos sa message and closing remarks by the NRCP Executive Director, Doc Marieta Banyas Magaysay.
Okay, thank you again, Kuya Kel. Indeed, there are so many stories of wisdom and inspiration all around us. And sharing these stories is important to influence and motivate budding researchers in the country. Narinig po natin yon kay Ma'am Olive at kay Doc Norby. And in this second season of iShare, Stories of Inspiration and Creative Research, the National Research Council of the Philippines will continue to share these wonderful stories from distinctive people. We are grateful really for Dr. Olivia Kawili and Dr. Norby Manigbas for sharing their stories with us in this first episode of iShare Season 2. We witnessed the journey of Dr. Kawili as a daughter, eldest daughter of 8, a student, a grandmother now, a professor, and a researcher. From a curious little girl to a pioneer of STS course and a 2018 Achievement Awardee of NRCP. With years of hard work and passion to her work, many minds were ignited and is now creating a difference for the Filipino people. Meanwhile, Dr. Manigbas shared his story of dedication in the field, the rice fields to be exact. His spectacular study on rice breeds with high temperature tolerance showed how research can help our farmers and let them understand and promote their livelihood while dealing with natural factors like temperature, weather and climate, and even the mutation of various crops in the field. This created more opportunities for the farming community to yield more crops and increase the production of rice in various regions in the country. Narinig po natin, may mga sinabi si Doc Norby mula sa Luzon hanggang sa Mindanao, mga nakikinabang na mga farmers sa kanyang mga ginawang research. Stories like this are the reasons why the National Research Council of the Philippines is proud as the country's collegial body of researchers and scientists, as we help devoted people in their field of expertise to reach their goals and extend the capacity of science and technology for the benefit of the Filipino people. These stories are for you, and we share. iShare is a unique NRCP platform for showing the youth role models that they can emulate. And of course, again, thank you to Dr. Olive Kawili and Dr. Norby Manigbas. So to our audience, did you like the stories featured in this episode of iShare? I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you'll be thrilled to hear the stories in the next episodes that we will feature in the next few weeks. We will have Dr. Decibel Faustino Eslava, the Dean of the School of Environmental Science and Management of UP Los Baños. We will have Dr. Landon Ocampo, Professor of the Department of Industrial Engineering at the Cebu Technical University. We will also have Dr. Henry Adorna, Professor of the Department of Computer Science at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Doralyn Dalisay, Director of the Center for Chemical Biology and Biotechnology at the University of San Agustin. Dr. Mary Paz Morales, Director of the Publication Office of the Philippine Normal University, and Dr. Castor Diocares, Senior Science Specialist from the UST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. And may I greet Dr. Mary Paz, Dr. Doralyn, and Dr. Henry. They are here with us this morning. Thank you very much for coming. And may I inform everyone that the remaining 3 episodes of iShare Season 2 will bring more stories of wisdom and inspiration. Please like and share the NRCP official Facebook page, The Research Pod, for further updates and announcements on the upcoming iShare episodes. I would like to thank again and again our featured achievement awardees for the inspirational stories as we strive to promote a science culture among the young in the country. May I also thank Dr. Salvador Kawili, the son of Dr. Olive, and of course, Ma'am Olive's daughter-in-law, Dr. Janice Kawili, for being with us this morning and being by the side of Ma'am Olive. So may I also thank our NRCP staff, especially the Research Information Dissemination Division and the Brighter team for making this Season 2 of iShare exciting and engaging. And to all our valued members and guests in this virtual room, may also greet Dr. RJ Dukusin and Dr. Dr. RJ is here, and also Dr. Mary Paz. They are governing board members. So thank you, and to all our media partners, my sincere thanks to all of you for honoring NRCP and its achievers today. Your time with us to listen and echo the stories of inspiration and creative research is highly appreciated. Who knows, maybe the story of any one of us here in this virtual room will be the next to be featured. Be proud of your journey. Be proud of your story, because I share. Thank you very much to everyone, and Godspeed. Back to you, Kuya Kel.
Okay, again, maraming salamat po, Doc Mayet, and to our participants for today. Alam nyo po, it's so nice to listen to stories of good people who have paid their dues and achieved their goals. Their stories prove that if you work hard, be passionate, and stay focused, amazing things will happen. Doc Olive, Doc Norby, thank you for sharing your stories. From all of us na nanonood po sa Facebook, sa Zoom, of course, sa Research Pod, and all of us here at the National Research Council of the Philippines, NRCP, thank you for joining us today.